In 2019, Nirmal Nims Purja completed what many considered the impossible, summiting all 14 of the world's highest peaks in just 6 months and 6 days. His preparation didn't start on a mountain, but in the British Special Boat Service. He spent years in the elite special forces, undergoing conditioning designed to push the human body to its absolute breaking point. For his 2021 Broad Peak expedition, he wasn't alone. He was surrounded by world record-holding Sherpas and veterans like Nadira Al-Harthi, who was already the first Omani woman to stand on top of Everest. Their target was Broad Peak. While it stands over 8,000 meters tall, its route is often described by guides as the most straightforward of the Karakoram giants, a beginner's peak for those entering the death zone. This combination of an easy mountain and the world's most capable climbers created a pervasive sense of security. On paper, failure seemed statistically improbable. That security vanished on the morning of July 29th. Between 8:57 and 9 a.m., a massive avalanche swept across the mountain near Camp 3. 10 of the world's most elite mountaineers were instantly buried under the snow. In most modern expeditions, a strike like this triggers an immediate distress signal, but on Broad Peak, the mountain went completely silent for 24 hours. To understand why no one moved to help them, we have to look at the chain of decisions and technical failures that occurred during those missing hours. Weather data from the climb tells a clear story. High-velocity winds hit upper elevations July 18th, with heavy snow peaking on the 22nd. Other experienced teams saw these numbers and turned back. By July 25th, most groups had abandoned their summit bids. This raises a difficult question. Why did Nims's team, arguably the most knowledgeable group on the mountain, decide to stay? Climbing at this level is often driven by intense commercial pressure. Sponsorships and record-breaking attempts require athletes to push through windows that others avoid, sometimes prioritizing the objective over the raw data on the screen. The avalanche wasn't a failure of forecasting. The data was there. The failure lay in the decision to ignore it in favor of the mission. While the climbers disappeared at 9 a.m., a 13-hour silence followed at base camp. Local authorities didn't receive a formal notification until 10 p.m. that night, hours after the final traces of daylight had vanished. That delay was a death sentence. By the time the news reached the officials, the temperature on the mountain had dropped to -20 degrees Celsius. Every expedition pays for government liaison officers and military coordinators, whose sole job is to manage emergencies. On this day, that entire administrative layer was non-functional, leaving the team stranded without any official rescue effort for half a day. 22 hours after the strike, Nims' tracker pinged at 5,878 meters, convincing partners he was alive. But the readout shows velocity at 0 kilometers per hour. This wasn't a moving person, but a hardware glitch or a device dragged by snow. At 8,000 meters, every single minute counts. The combination of missing officers on the ground and technical errors in the air meant that by the time a search actually began, the chances of survival were gone. Rescue operations in Pakistan are managed by Askari Aviation, a military-run organization with much stricter flight limits than the commercial helicopter pilots in Nepal. These helicopters are restricted by the physics of the Karakoram. They have a maximum safe landing ceiling of 5,000 meters. For a team trapped near Camp 3, thousands of meters higher, these aircraft were physically incapable of reaching them. Drones and ground teams eventually located the climbers, but the terrain was too unstable to recover everyone. The bodies were found scattered across a vertical, inaccessible rock face. The tragedy represents a staggering loss of skill. In one morning, the mountaineering world lost its most prolific record-setters, its most experienced guides, and a new generation of explorers. The mountain is indifferent to reputation. High-altitude safety only works if the protocols at base camp are as reliable as the climbers themselves, and if commercial incentives are never allowed to override the reality of the weather.